So I had another video when we talked about this display and the options here. Remember when we went into my options, you had ramp time, humidity level, and mask setting. And it kind of give you a lot of information in this, hopefully not super long video. But last time we talked about this, we did not have the tubing plugged in. I want to show you the difference when we plug in the tubing and we utilize the technology in the tubing and the sensors in this tubing. And this is why I love the heated tubing, because there's a lot of technology in here and it can change your options and what your machine can do when you plug it in. Okay, so hang tight. We're going to plug this in. And now the difference, it's going to say ramp time, which is the same, but now you have climate control and tube temperature. You still down here, if you scroll up, have mask setting, but that's not changed. So what we're going to talk about is climate control and tube temperature now that your tubing is plugged in and are utilizing the technology in the tubing. So under climate control, you can see that this is an auto, and so is the tube temperature currently. This tubing has sensors that the idea is that the machine with that tubing sensor is going to detect the humidity and the moisture in your room along with the temperature and adjust itself. The whole idea is that it'll give you enough humidity so that you're not dry and give you enough warmth in your tubing so that you're not getting condensation in the tubing. The last thing you need is for your tubing to fill up with water or get condensation and then it gurgles or it ends up in your mask, okay? So that's the whole point. Usually the machine is smart enough to do this pretty well on its own. On occasion, if the weather changes drastically, hot to cold, really rainy to dry, it might take it a day or two to adjust itself. So you might notice a little bit more water for a day or two, a little bit more dryness for a day or two, but usually it gets better pretty quickly. You can go into this under climate control, take it out of auto and adjust it yourself. We're going to come back to that. Right now, we're going to leave our climate control in auto. We'll say okay. It's adjusting itself on the humidity. Tube temperature is also set in auto. Most of the time, you can leave tube temperature alone. Again, it'll adjust what it needs, enough heat or temperature to keep it from condensating. But you could also adjust this yourself if you wanted to. Obviously, this is in degrees, so 60 degrees up to 86 degrees. It doesn't necessarily get super hot, but the idea is you want it warmer than your room temperature to keep water from condensating. So if your room temperature at night is, let's say, 68 degrees, then obviously you need to get closer to like maybe 74, 76 or higher to make sure this is warm enough that it's not going to build up water, okay? If it's super cold in your room, you can lower it. I don't know very many people that go down to like in the 60s on here because usually that's going to cause more condensation, but it is an option if you need it. You can go all the way up to 86. I've had patients on 86 degrees. They don't feel like it's hot, but it really helps keep the water from condensating. Again, you can turn this off if you want, but then you won't have any heat in this to keep it from condensating. Most people, I would say, would just leave this on auto. Let it do its own thing. And if we go back to climate control, take it out of auto and put it on manual, this is what it looks like. You can do this on your own machine. Now that I've put this climate control on manual, let's see if I can get it all on there. You have two options. Climate control's on manual. Now you have to set a tube temperature. Now you're saying, I'm not letting the tubing sense and do its own thing. I'm going to set it completely on my own. Now you have to set a tube temperature. You have to pick some. Auto is not an option anymore. It's all manual. In general, I would say maybe start off about 76 degrees. If you get a lot of moisture buildup, go up. If it's hot or dry, turn it down. That's a good place to start depending on your room temperature, okay? But you can adjust this. Also, since you're in manual, now you have to pick a humidity level. And again, remember from the last video, from the previous video about this, your humidity levels are off in 1 through 8. So the higher number, the warmer that hot plate gets under the humidifier, the more moisture you're going to get. The lower the number, the least moisture you're going to get. So if you're waking up dry, you need to go up. If you're waking up gurgling or water in your mask, you need to go down. Good place to start, somewhere around 4, 5, or 6. Adjust up or down from there. Winter, most people like a higher humidity level. Summer, if you live in a rainy area, you may go down. But again, when this is set in auto, you don't have to do anything. It can do its own thing. If you're in manual, you have to set it yourself. Some people like to do this, but that is something that you can control completely, okay? So this is the difference when you plug in your tubing, your heated tubing. If you don't have heated tubing, you will not have the option of those auto options that we just talked about. So again, I love heated tubing. This is something that now with the technology, you can plug it all in, just put it on and wear it. It does its own thing. And a lot of people like that. And I think for most people, auto is the way to go. If you're old school or you want to do it yourself, you can try manual, but that is how you change it back and forth. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments and I will try my best to answer it for you.